Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News. I'm Tracy Shilshi and here are the headlines this morning. Election Commission asks 5 poll-bound states to consult it before finalizing examination schedule. Poll body seeks to avoid clash of dates with election days. Incentives announced for promoting digital and cashless economy. 0.75% discount on fuel purchase through digital means and 0.5% discount on suburban railway tickets for users of digital wallets. Pakistan strikes a conciliatory note, says it does not want to live in perpetual hostility with India, but MEA reacts strongly to Pakistan's claims on alleged Indian spy Kulbhushan Jadhav. India is designated as major defense partner of the United States, status to facilitate defense trade and technology sharing to a level at par with US's closest allies. And Syria's army halts attacks in Aleppo, move to allow evacuation to trapped civilians in the battle zone. Starting with the Election Commission that has asked poll-bound states not to announce examination schedules without consulting it. The EC told the 5 poll-bound states of Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Uttarakhand, Manipur and Goa that it is aware that the annual examination at various levels of educational institutions in the states are generally due in the first half of next year. But it does not want a clash between the program of elections and the examination schedule that may be framed by various state education boards. The poll body said that it is a constitutional mandate to hold the elections well before the expiry of the term of the Legislative Assembly, and it is in the advanced stages of considering a schedule for holding the elections. While the term of the Legislative Assemblies of Goa, Manipur and Punjab are coming to an end on the 18th of March, Uttarakhand will expire on 26th of March, and the Uttar Pradesh Legislative Assembly will expire on 27th of May. The EC is likely to announce the poll schedule for these states sometime later this month or early next January. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley addressed a press conference on Thursday as his government's demonetization move completed a month, outlining the steps taken by the government to address the hardships faced by the people. Jaitley announced a slew of measures to popularize a cashless economy. Some of these measures include petrol and diesel being made cheaper by 0.75% for those using digital wallets, 0.5% discount on suburban railway tickets for users of digital wallets, and NABARD is also handing out RuPay cards to those who have Kisan credit cards.
जहां तक संभव हो अर्थव्यवस्था का इकोनॉमी का जो कैश ट्रांजैक्शन है वो कम हो और उसके सब्स्टिट्यूशन में डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शंस आगे बढ़े। कैश के साथ डील करना इसके इकोनॉमिक कॉस्ट भी हैं और पूरे डेमोक्रेटिक सिस्टम में भी इसका एक कॉस्ट है जो इनबिल्ट है। कुछ कॉस्ट अपेरेंट है, कुछ इनबिल्ट है और इसलिए सरकार प्रयास करती रही है और बैंकिंग व्यवस्था भी प्रयास करती रही है कि क्रेडिट कार्ड्स, डेबिट कार्ड्स, ई वॉलेट्स और जितने भी ऑल्टरनेटिव मेथड्स ऑफ डिजिटल करेंसी हैं उनको इनकरेज किया जाए और बहुत बड़े पैमाने में इस एक महीने में ये स्विच ओवर होता हुआ दिख रहा है। ऑनलाइन पेमेंट करते हैं अगर डिजिटल मोड से तो उनको 10% डिस्काउंट मिलेगा जनरल इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज के केस में और 8% डिस्काउंट मिलेगा लाइफ इंश्योरेंस के केस में। सबर्बन रेलवे नेटवर्क्स में जो लोग मंथली और सीजनल टिकट लेंगे डिजिटल मोड से पेमेंट करके, उनको उन टिकट्स पे रेलवेज 0.5% का डिस्काउंट देगी।
And a united opposition meanwhile sought to corner the government in the upper house on Thursday on the issue of demonetization. The opposition parties insisted on condoling the loss of lives allegedly due to standing in long lines outside ATMs and banks. The government, however, slammed the opposition for causing obstruction and pressed for a discussion. The standoff led to several adjournments through the day.
The opposition continued its tirade against the government over the demonetization issue on Thursday, 1 month after the decision was first announced. Upping the ante against the government, leader of opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad alleged that more than 100 people have died due to the ill-conceived decision and demanded that an obituary reference be made for them.
उन 100 से ज्यादा लोगों को जो सरकार की गलत नीति की वजह से, नोटबंदी की वजह से किसी की शादी नहीं हो पाई, किसी की बेटी की शादी नहीं हो पाई, किसी को दवाई नहीं मिल पाया, कोई हॉस्पिटल नहीं दाखिला कर पाया, ट्रेजरी बेंचेस नहीं थे, उनको श्रद्धांजलि हमने बाहर पार्लियामेंट के बाहर दे दी। ये शर्म की बात है इस सरकार के लिए।
The TMC and the BSP also joined ranks in condemning the government's decision.
More than 100 people have died in the queue. And we are, sir, one second, please.
Let the discussion start.
The dead people.
How can it be?
No, sir, we are talking about the dead people.
Yeah,
do you have a zero-hour
mention? Talking of the poor people who are benefited by this government decision, historic decision of the government.
Dead should be mourned. Sir, dead should be mourned.
All right.
Not to be objected.
Okay, fine. ये पहली बार देख रहे हैं कि काले धन के मुद्दे पर बहुत चाहते हैं चर्चा करना, डिस्कशन कर नहीं रहे, काले धन के गुलेरों की कंगाली पर।
Refuting all the claims, the government urged the opposition to resume the discussion on demonetization.
The church should take it very seriously.
What is this?
They are coming here in front of
What
me.
is this?
They are coming here in front of me.
Minister.
They are not allowing me the government to speak.
Amid sharp verbal duels between the Treasury and the opposition benches, 0 hour and question hour were washed away. Even in the post-lunch session, the protests remained unabated. With no visible respite, the chair adjourned the House till Friday.
House stands adjourned till 11.
With inputs from Vishal Dhaya, Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, neither the aggressive opposition nor the government has budged an inch in the standoff over the notes ban inside Parliament. And to mark the 1 month mark, the opposition observed Black Day on Thursday, alleging that poor implementation led to a severe cash crunch across the country, causing immense hardship to people, especially the poor.
Opposition lawmakers vote black bans as a mark of protest to mark 1 month of the government's ban on 500 and 1,000 rupee notes. Opposition parties observed a black day by staging a protest near Mahatma Gandhi's statue inside the parliament premises. The protest was led by Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi and leaders of Trinamool Congress, Janata Dal United, Samajwadi Party, Bahujan Samaj Party, the left parties and the Rashtriya Janata Dal joined in.
नुकसान किसका हुआ? किसान का, मजदूर का, गरीब का, मच्छीमार का, जो कैश की इकोनॉमी का प्रयोग करते हैं। काले धन वाले सब भाग गए। लाइन में आपको एक अमीर व्यक्ति नहीं दिखाई दिया, सब के सब भाग गए। उन्होंने सब अपना पैसा बदल दिया और कुल्हाड़ी जाके लगी गरीबों पे। हाउस को चलाने की जिम्मेदारी सरकार की और स्पीकर की है, ऑपोजिशन की नहीं है। हम चाहते हैं कि इस पे वोट हो, क्योंकि हम जानते हैं कि अगर वोट होगा तो बीजेपी के अंदर से लोग वोट करेंगे हमारे पक्ष में, इसलिए हम वोट चाहते हैं। हम चाहते हैं कि प्रधानमंत्री जी अंदर आके बात करें।
In response, the government called the protest an insult to Mahatma Gandhi. Senior Union Minister Venkaiah Naidu described November 8th as a red letter day, a historic day, and said those who were protesting were celebrating black money supporting day.
Opponents, particularly Congress party, I'm told, is observing today as a काला दिवस। मैं कहता हूं ये काला धन के समर्थन दिवस है। कांग्रेस वाले जो मना रहे वो काला धन समर्थन दिवस।
The opposition and the government have been at loggerheads both inside and outside Parliament since the decision was announced by the Prime Minister a month ago. The opposition continues to demand for a discussion with a vote and that the Prime Minister be present and explain the notes ban. The government has offered debate but says there will be no vote. With inputs from Navikram Singh, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, in other news, in an effort to further strengthen bilateral security cooperation, India and the US finalized the major defense partner status to India, which will fast-track cooperation and sharing of high-end American defense technology. Both sides also vow to expand the bilateral defense cooperation in a meeting with Defense Minister Manohar Parrikar and outgoing Defense Secretary Ashton Carter in New Delhi on Thursday. Parrikar and Carter also exchanged views on regional security issues, including threat posed by terrorism. The agreement now needs to be formally passed by the United States Congress before the US President Barack Obama can sign it into law.
Overall, I am confident that both our countries will continue to strengthen and expand our defense cooperation in the future on this very strong foundation that you have helped us to build.
This relationship takes a major step forward because we finalized India's designation as a major defense partner. That is unprecedented, it's unique to India, and it puts India on par with our closest older allies.
Meanwhile, Pakistan has struck a conciliatory note amid the ongoing tensions with India. The country's High Commissioner to India, Abdul Basit, has said that Islamabad does not want to live in perpetual hostility with India. And this comes as the Ministry of External Affairs here reacted sharply on the issue of alleged Indian spy Kulbhushan Jadhav. The MEA said that Pakistan is using the issue to get political mileage to hide its terror activities against India.
The Ministry of External Affairs has said Pakistan is using the issue of Kulbhushan Jadhav to get political mileage to hide its terrorist activities against India.
We all know why SAARC has not made progress, because one standout country has consistently opposed all our efforts and initiatives towards promoting greater regional cooperation and connectivity. Prime Minister has also outlined that terrorism remains a very serious threat in our efforts to promote regional cooperation.
The MEA also said that 8 note verbals have been given to Pakistan for consular access to Kulbhushan Jadhav. The MEA reaction came after a surprise statement from Pakistan Foreign Policy Advisor Sartaj Aziz. Aziz is being quoted by the Pakistani media telling the Pakistani Senate that there was not enough evidence against alleged Indian spy Kulbhushan Jadhav. Pakistan's initial charge was that Jadhav was a raw agent. However, the Pakistani Foreign Office issued a statement refuting Aziz, saying there is irrefutable proof against Jadhav, who has also made a public confession in March this year. In India, the Pakistan High Commissioner, Abdul Basit, struck a conciliatory note amid rising tensions. He said Islamabad does not want to live in perpetual hostility with India.
That Pakistan does not wish to live in perpetual hostility with India. We remain positive and constructive, but it takes two to tango.
Basit further called for uninterrupted and uninterruptible bilateral engagement.
Present, unfortunately, we do not see much desire in New Delhi to engage with us in a comprehensive manner. So we are ready to wait. We are patient. So we will wait and see how things unfold in the months and years ahead.
The conciliatory note comes after Pakistan's Sartaj Aziz, who was in Amritsar recently for the Heart of Asia Ministerial Conference, did not mention Kashmir in his speech. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
In more national news, 2 people have been killed after an under-construction 7-story building collapsed at Nanaka Kramgura area of Hyderabad on Thursday. About 10 families, mostly labourers, were living in the premises of the building. Several others could be trapped under the debris. The rescue operation is going on. Telangana Home Minister N. Narasimha Reddy and several other leaders and officials rushed to the spot. Teams of the GHMC, NDRF and Sabrabad police also rushed to the accident site. The State Home Minister claimed that the rules have been violated in the construction.
ऐसी घटना नहीं, विदाउट परमिशन कोई नहीं बनाए तो सख्त कानूनी कार्रवाई करके उनके ऊपर एक्शन लेने के लिए हमारा म्युनिसिपल मिनिस्टर ऑलरेडी केटीआर ने कहा है और उसके ऊपर हमारा ऑफिसर्स जो है सही तवज्जो देके इसको रोकने का कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
हमारा पता नहीं, हम भी देख रहे हैं। तहकीकात करने के बाद बिल्डिंग के पीछे तहकीकात करने के बाद जरूर उन पर एक्शन लिया जाएगा और जो बिल्डिंग का कंट्रैक्टर है, ओनर है, उस पर भी एक्शन लिया जाएगा और ऐसे इलीगल बिल्डिंग बनाने वालों पर जरूर कानूनी शिकंजा कसा जाएगा ताकि ऐसा ना हो कि और बिल्डिंग बनाते हो क्वालिटी कंट्रोल को देखने के लिए भी एक महकमा कायम किया जाए तो बहुत बेहतर रहेगा ताकि आने वाले बिल्डिंग भी अच्छे से अच्छे बन सके, लोगों को रिस्क ना हो।
Moment it is very difficult to tell the cause of the collapse, but the building has collapsed and it is not yet completed, it seems, but it is in the finishing stage. At this stage the families may not be there, but the residents and the neighbors are saying that some coolies, the daily wage workers were there. They must have been there under the debris. That is the right now assumption. So if once we remove the debris, then only we'll come to know.
We'll keep you updated on the situation there. And here's a look at what else is making news across the country and nationwide. Kashmir police on Thursday arrested 6 people for allegedly throwing petrol bombs at a school in Gandarbar. More than 40 schools were attacked during the last 4 months in the valley. Out of these educational institutions, at least 30 schools have been razed to the ground so far. A divisional bench of the Kerala High Court on Thursday ordered that women should not be allowed to wear salwar kameez and churidar inside the Sri Padmanabha Swami temple. The order also states that the decision of the chief priest is final and the temple board does not have the authority to make the rules. The Income Tax Department on Thursday seized at least 106 crore rupees in cash, including 8 crore rupees in new currency, 127 kilograms of gold bars, and a number of documents related to financial transactions in a raid at multiple locations across Chennai. The department has called in for additional staff, auditors, counting machines, and banking personnel to ascertain the final figures of the recovered assets and formalize the seizure process under tax laws. With that, a quick break here, but more news follows in a bit. Stay with us.
ISRO's great strength is system management. For that, Professor Dhawan made me a scientific secretary ISRO. In fact, for our Vision 2020, one I think Indian Express has something described one line, saying that we look ahead, but you have to look how you go. We have not liberated education. Liberated as we did for industry.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Y.S. Rajan, Honorary Distinguished Professor ISRO, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. International news now. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said that the Syrian army has stopped all military actions in Aleppo and is focusing on evacuating the residents. With the government forces in Syria having retaken 75% of East Aleppo from the rebels in recent weeks, the move is said to be the largest ever evacuation of eastern Aleppo residents, with close to 8,000 of them being taken out. Russia and the US are set to meet in Geneva on Saturday to discuss ways to bring an end to the violence in Aleppo. Meanwhile, the US welcomed the indication that something positive could happen, but they would have to wait and see whether Russia helps stop military operations.
Могу вам сообщить, сегодня активные боевые действия сирийской армии в Восточном Алеппо приостановлены, потому что осуществляется очередная и крупнейшая за все это время операция по выводу желающих мирных жителей из Восточного.
South Korea's national legislature, after introducing the bill on Thursday, will today vote on the possible impeachment of President Park Geun-hye, making her the country's first democratically elected leader likely to be ousted from office. Parliament is expected to vote in favor of the impeachment, but the Constitutional Court will decide whether to uphold that motion. The process could take up to 6 months. Park has been engulfed in a massive scandal involving allegations of corruption and influence peddling, such as pressuring big businesses to donate to 2 foundations set up to back her policy initiatives. She said she is willing to step down but declined to resign so far. Hundreds of thousands of South Koreans took to the streets demanding her resignation. Two powerful earthquakes rocked the Solomon Islands and the northern Californian coast on Thursday. In Solomon Islands, a major 7.7 magnitude quake struck, raising the threat of widespread hazardous tsunami waves. Some houses were reported to have been damaged in the southern part. Several villages have been evacuated, but there were no reports of deaths so far. The US-based Pacific Tsunami Warning Center has issued tsunami warnings for the Solomon Islands and neighboring island chains, but later it was lifted. The epicenter of the quake was located 68 kilometers west of the islands at a depth of 48 kilometers. Meanwhile, a 6.5 magnitude earthquake rocked the northern Californian coast, but no major tsunami threat was issued. There were no reports of any damage or injuries. The epicenter of the quake was located at 157 kilometers west of California at a depth of 10 kilometers. And here's an update on what else is making news across the world in World Wrap. In a rare public appearance since losing the US presidential polls, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has called fake news an epidemic with real-world consequences. Calling fake news a threat to US democracy, Clinton urged action from both private and public sectors to combat false reports. Former US Senator and astronaut John Glenn, who became the first American to orbit the Earth, has died. 95-year-old Glenn passed away on Thursday in Ohio after battling with age-related health issues. Glenn circled the Earth 3 times and was the 3rd US astronaut in space. He also made history in 1998 when he became the oldest person to be sent into space at the age of 77. Greece's largest labor unions held a day-long nationwide strike on Thursday to protest against latest proposals of budget cuts by the government. The strike comes ahead of a parliament meeting on Saturday to vote on the conditions of the next bailout by international creditors. The Greek government announced a fresh round of austerity measures in exchange for further aid by the European Union and the International Monetary Fund. All right, on to some sports now. And in good news, India defeated Canada 4-0 in their opening group match of the Men's Junior Hockey World Cup at Lucknow. Mandeep Singh, Harmanpreet Singh, Varun Kumar and Ajit Pandey were the goal scorers as India topped Pool D after the first day. Earlier in the other Pool D game, England had defeated South Africa 4-2. In Pool C, New Zealand got the better of Japan 1-0, while defending champions Germany beat Spain 2-1. Top 16 teams of the world are participating in the competition, but Pakistan is not taking part in it. India will play its second group game against England on Saturday. Meanwhile, in the other India-England encounter, onto some cricket now, and Ravichandran Ashwin's early strike helped India bounce back in the 4th test on day 2 of the Mumbai test. Resuming their first innings at the overnight score of 288 for 5, England scored 320 runs so far, losing 7 wickets. R. Ashwin once again did the early damage for the visitors in the first session as he struck Ben Stokes' wicket. Earlier on day 1, the visitors started the game strongly as they posted 288 for the loss of 5 wickets. Debutant Keaton Jennings was the star of the day as he hit his maiden test ton. He scored 112. Jennings and Moeen Ali, who scored a half-century, took England's score to 230 in the final session before both batsmen fell in quick succession. India, remember, is leading the 5-match series 2-0. And here are some more updates from the world of sports in SportsBeat. Reigning national champion Saurav Kothari advanced to the finals of the World Billiards Championship. He defeated compatriot Dhvaj Haria 12-50, 8-16 in the long-up format in the semi-final. Earlier, he had stunned 10-time world champion Pankaj Advani in the quarterfinals. Commonwealth Games champion Parupalli Kashyap reached the quarterfinals of the Korea Masters Grand Prix Gold Badminton Tournament. Kashyap defeated China's Zhou Zheqi 21-11, 13-21, 21-8. He will next take on local shuttler Jeon Yuk Jin in the next round. The Supreme Court will hear the case of the BCCI's non-implementation of the Lodha panel recommendations today. The hearing for the matter had been postponed from the initially scheduled date of 5th of December. The board has argued its case for not implementing the committee's recommendations and has remained adamant in its position over the last few months. A memoir on gymnast Deepa Karmakar, who finished fourth in the Rio Olympics, is reportedly being written by Vimal Mohan, Divijay Singh Deo and her coach Bisheshwar Nandi. The book, tentatively titled Deepa Karmakar, The Small Wonder, is slated to release in August next year and will have untold stories of Deepa's struggle and triumph. That's all we have for you on the Breakfast News. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day.